Hi there, welcome back to Scrap and Coffee. Finally, this box is done. I've made a memory box using the faded memory lane paper collection from 49 Market. So a little while back I asked you, would you like me to make a tutorial for a memory box that I had already made a few years ago, which I didn't have measurements of and I didn't have a tutorial for it, using this beautiful paper collection that was released by 49 Market. And everybody said, yes, please, let's do a tutorial for this. So here I am, it's done. It took me a bit of time because my kids had like 2.5 weeks off from school, and then I'm just not able to film tutorials, so that's why it took me a bit longer. But here we are. I've been working really hard on this. It's just the box, but I'm saying just, it's just the box because it's just a little bit more than just a box. But like there are no inserts in here or anything yet. However, you're not just getting this box, you're also getting a smaller version of this box. So I've been working on 2 boxes at the same time. In the tutorial you will see me making the large original size, but in your cutting guide you will also get the measurements for the small size. It comes together exactly the same. You only have to follow the measurements for your cutting for what's in this guide, in the smaller size guide, right? So let me show you, because there's a little bit more to it. Start showing you with the big box, with the faded memory lane collection. So the end measurements for this large box are approximately 9.5, maybe 9 5/8 by, let's say, a little over 7 1/4. So that is the final measurement on the outside. It has a really nice finish where everything is aligned really nicely, and you can see that on this large box, it's just so hard to get in frame, but on this large box I've used metal hinges on the back and a closure on the front. The paper is continuous. I show you all of that in the tutorial. I take you, the tutorials are long videos, like more than an hour and a half, at least the first 2, but I'm taking you through every step. We construct, we cut our pattern paper, everything. I show you every single step. If that's too slow for you, you can speed up the video, you can skip parts, but if you want me to and you need it, I'll take you through every step. So what I want to say about these metal hinges and the closure that I've done on here is that I've glued them on the lid. So if you want to use the metal pieces, you will need some sort of glue that can handle that. I've used a heavy body gel. To my understanding, a tacky glue could also hold up, but just really make sure for yourself that it's doable. If you're not sure, if you don't have a glue like it, I suggest that you make it without the metal hinges and the closure, because you absolutely can. You just leave it out. The reason for it is because we have such a nice fit. The lid is very tightly onto the base, and if you're going to place pattern paper on the inside of your lid to hide where the breads will come through, you're going to struggle, you're going to damage the beautiful pattern paper that you've applied here with closing and opening the lid. Well, you already see a little surprise here. So that is something that I really want to tell you. Another thing is, I've been constructing these boxes surprisingly using painter's masking tape that I just got from the hardware store. Although I have stronger tape, I really wanted to use something and show you that you can, that is available to everybody. So I've just used a pretty cheap roll of painter's masking tape from the hardware store in a double layer, and I've inked it with some gathered twigs from the Distress ink range to color it, to change the color. The one thing that was not in the supply list that I've already provided on my socials is that because I realized that we couldn't do the pattern paper on the inside of the lid, but also for the trinket trays, I realized that when I picked up the small roll, I also saw a wider roll. So this is 1 inch. In my case, this one is 1.5 inches. So since I could find it so easily in my hardware store, I'm really hoping that you can as well. Just a wider roll, like 1.5 up to 2 inches wide, and that will really help you to finish off your lid a bit neater, where we don't have any edges of tape showing. because we can't cover that with pattern paper. So if you can find that, that would be great. So it's a cheap solution, but it doesn't have to hold up with any moving parts. It's just for the finishing. So those are some important information that I wanted to give you. So on this front, I've made a frame, and that's what you're going to do as well if you make the box. And then I've decorated a little bit extra with some rub-ons, with some chipboard pieces, with some of the laser cut elements, just to decorate that a little bit more. So you can go as clean or as busy as you wish on this lid. And then you already saw on the inside, like the lid I kept very clean, like nothing special. Then on the inside here, I have a large tray. This is what I call the full-size tray. Where again, I've used a beautiful pattern paper, and I've added a little cluster with rub-ons here in the corner just to fill up the empty space and balance it out a little bit more. And again, I've used like a base cardstock for this part here on the inside, but also on the inside of the box. This in a color ivory that I've colored once more with the ink. I've just inked the edges. So this is the full-size tray. I also used that ivory on the bottom. You can change the trays up, however. So I'm going to show you some different versions. In the large box you get a bit more options compared to the small box, but still options are very much there. So a full-size tray, but you can also do a horizontal tray. This is the large size horizontal tray. This is the one that I'm making in the tutorial to show you how you put together the trays. That is the same for all of them. You just follow the right measurements. And for almost every tray, I'm not doing it for the full size one, but for all the other trays you will get the measurement for a divider. For the horizontal trays, the divider will go in this way. For the vertical trays, the measurement for the divider will be the one that goes in this direction. What I did here is I've placed one divider, and you can place these dividers wherever you like. You can divide it in half, you can divide it in 3 sections, just in 2 sections, but like unevenly like I did here. If you then want to divide one of your spaces one more time, you need to measure that for yourself, because I cannot give you measurements for all the different options out there, right? So I explained to you in the tutorial how you need to measure to get to for your a second, maybe even third divider. All right, so this is the horizontal tray in the large size. Then you also get one that is the regular size. So from this one you can only fit one, and you can move it a little bit. You also get one that is going almost halfway, and then you can fit 2 next to each other if you want to. You can also only make one of those, but you can fill up the whole box with 2 of those. So that's for the horizontal ones. Then you get some vertical boxes as well. So the first one is the regular one, or the medium one. So this one is going about halfway. You can fit 2 next to each other if you like. There is also a smaller one. If you like, you can fit 3 next to each other. So these ones don't have a divider, but you will find the measurements for the divider in the cutting guide, and you can place the divider wherever you like to place it, right? So you could fit 3 of these next to each other. And there is a large size. This here, from this one you can only fit 1. However, you can combine it with a small one to fill up the whole space. So this is a combination that's possible. Of course, you could also combine it with a medium size, and then you don't fill up the whole space here. So options are there. So you can really personalize your box to your needs, your liking, and whatever you want to make, right? So this is the larger box. In your cutting guide though, or actually you get 2 different files, but you will also find a file for the smaller size box. So I've used a different collection on this box. I've used also a 49er Market collection. This one is called Little Dreamers. I believe it's Little Dreamers. The size for this box is a little over 7.5 by slightly over 5.5. Okay, so no hinges and closure on this box, but it has a really nice fit, so you can that will definitely work. So again, here I've decorated that outer frame a little bit with some nice elements. For this box, by the way, I didn't have to use 12 by 12 paper. I've used the 6 by 8 paper pack from the collection, which turned out beautiful. So I've decorated the lid. So here I'm trying to see where you can see it, because I went over with the larger tape, but I started out with the 1-inch tape, and then you see the overlapping there slightly. So you can do it with the smaller size tape, but yeah, if you have the wider tape, it's just, yeah, a little bit more neat. So for this one, also options in your tray. So here I've made 2 of the vertical boxes, the regular size, that can fit 2 next to each other. I've placed a divider in one, and I left the divider out in the other one. And we can just take this out. So you can also only do one of these. But there is also a larger size for this vertical tray in the cutting guide. So you can play around with that one as well. And you have an option for, I need to find the right one, for your horizontal tray. Once more, this is like the regular size. You can fit 2 next to each other. You can place dividers in here or leave it out. And there is one that is slightly a bigger size, and you can only fit the one. And then of course you also get your full size tray size for this smaller box. So also with the smaller box you get your options for the trays that you want to use in here, and customize, personalize the box to your liking. So in here I've played a little bit more with pattern paper and not kept it as calm as I did with the bigger one. So that's also an option, to decorate it with pattern paper. But yeah, that's your own choice, right? So just a fun size box. This could be a really nice one for a gift. So there we have it, 2 boxes in the one guide, or the one purchase on my Ko-fi web shop. So like I said, the guide will be available in my Ko-fi web shop. It will be for a small amount, but you get quite a lot in these guides. So 2 files for the large box, for the small box, all the different tray sizes. I've placed photos in there, so you know what tray size you are deciding on. I give you a very elaborated tutorials on these boxes as well. So in the tutorials I'm making the large one. That's all in the videos are all coming to my channel. I'm kind of losing track of what I'm trying to say. All the tutorials are coming to my channel for everybody available. I do give you measurements for the large box in those videos, but you won't get the measurements for the small box. So if you want to have that, then you really have to go to my Ko-fi web shop. The other thing that I want to say is, I wanted to say it in the beginning, but I forgot. But with the tape, I'm using a different method for constructing than I have been doing, and I really love how that is turning out. There is less bulk, mainly in your corners. You get the opportunity to get really nice finishes and be really precise with your measurements. So yeah, I think it's really worth it to at least watch how this box comes together. And if you want to give it a try, then you can go to my Ko-fi web shop, get yourself the cutting guide, and start making this, right? So yeah, I think I covered everything. That was a lot for just a box, but there were so many different options for this box that I really wanted to show you. I hope you liked how it turned out. I hope you're going to join me in making the box, either a large one or a small one. And if you do, I would love it to share, that you share some pictures with me. You can do that. The easiest way to do it is in my Facebook group, Scrap Coffee and Friends. It's been a little bit low-key lately, but I'm trying to get it a bit more active. So in Scrap Coffee and Friends Facebook group, you can share pictures of your projects. But of course, if you feel more comfortable in sending me an email, you can do that as well. Or tag me on Instagram, Facebook, if you are posting your projects. So I get a little notification and I will go there and have a look at it. So this is it. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for watching. The tutorials will be coming to my channel really soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.